Good day, everyone. Have a pleasant day. My name is Aerille Garcia, and I'll be discussing to you the communication and process. But before we start, you need to watch this video first for you to be able to know how important the communication is to our daily lives.
Excuse me? Hello? Hey! I'm a human being. If you don't want to help, at least say so.
Hello, I am deaf. I may have trouble comprehending you. Thank you for your consideration. Usually, I'd read your lips to understand you.
Oh.
If you like, you could let this convert your speech to text for me.
Okay. Could you tell me how to get to it?
Want to try again?
Attention passengers, all is well. Thank you.
Low power shutting down.
Oh, yay!
Attention passengers, line 4 is delayed for 1 hour. Thank you.
So the video clip shows the process mode and even barriers to achieve the goal of communication, no? The issue faced by broadcaster plug, similar misunderstanding problems in communication, whereas the first communicator or the one wearing a mask herself has too many assumptions and easily gets into a violent reaction in speech with another person or the depth, whose way of communication is exactly different and even strange. The depth uses a speech-to-text converter machine to understand what the sender wants to express. So, unfortunately, both of communicators have struggled to understand each other because some of the barriers that affect the communication process. So, the focus of our topic is about communication process, and the barriers is just we will be talking about it in our next video. As you can see at the end of the video was a great and clearly shows how communication is so important to understand feedbacks and body language as well as reading people, and this make us understand that barriers and medium to deliver a message have great effects to successful and failed communication. Okay, now let's proceed to our main topic, which is communication and process. So, in the end of this lesson, you are able to identify the principles of effective communication, explain the ethics of communication and its principles, analyze the effectiveness of the principles of communication, create an infographic on the communication processes, principles, and ethics. So, what is communication? Communication came from the Latin term communicare, which means to share. It's the act of conveying meaning to a person or group of people using a mutually understood symbols, gestures, behaviors, and semiotic rules. As much as communication is acquired skill, not everyone can communicate properly not unless they exert effort to develop and refine their communication skill. Can you imagine your life without communication? Can you live for a day without texting, chatting, or sending messages to your friends, loved ones, or parents? I don't think so. It is no doubt that communication plays a vital role in human life. It does not only facilitate the process of sharing information and ideas, but also helps to develop relationship with others. Therefore, the importance of communication cannot be underestimated. The communication process. The goal of communication is to transmit information and understanding information from one person or group to another person or group. So this is the best example of the communication process. So as you can see, first we have a sender, which also known as ideas, the center of communication of the message or information. The speaker initiates the process of communication with a specific particular purpose. The speaker encodes by converting message into action. So from sender to message, converting it into action or words or other forms wherein the speaker and the listener understand the message is simply the information, thoughts, or ideas conveyed by the speaker into words or in action. After that, the message is being transported. So, from transmission to recipients, so we are decoding the message through sender, message, transmission to recipients to be able to understand by the receiver. The receiver decodes the message. He or she now can make a response, also known as feedback. Feedbacks are reaction responses or any information provided by the receiver. So as I was saying earlier, the other important feature is the feedback cycle. When two people interact, communication is rarely one way only. When a person receives a message, she responds to it by giving a reply. The feedback cycle is the same as sender-receiver feedback noted in figures. Otherwise, the sender can't know whether the other parties properly interpreted the message or how they react to it. This information process is divided into three basic components. A sender conveys a message through a channel to the receiver. The sender first develops an idea, which is composed into a message, then transmitted to other party, who interprets the message and receives meaning. Information theorists have added somewhat more complicated language. Developing a message is known as encoding. Interpreting the message referred to as decoding. Before I end this discussion, let me just have a recap. The communication and process is all about breaking down the process of sending and receiving messages, highlighting the importance of feedback. It also defines key concepts like encoding and decoding, which are essential for understanding how messages are created and interpreted. It's a good overview of the basics of communication, and it helps me understand how to be a communicator. So that's it for today's video. I hope you were able to understand the process and nature of communication. Thank you for listening. This is Aerille Garcia, and always remember that communication is the solvent of all problems and is the foundation for personal development. Thank you. Bye!